Welcome viewers. Since many weeks we are studying metabolism. So I thought to create a little change and make our study more interesting by adding further calculation of net charge of a peptide. Amino acids always being my favorite topic, and we have discussed the calculation of net charge of amino acids in our previous video. So how to calculate the net charge of a peptide, it is our today's topic. Okay, so you are very much familiar with the pK values of amino acids, which is written on this slide, and I hope that now you all are very much aware about the single letter code of amino acids. Okay, both of these will play crucial role in elucidating or in calculating the net charge of peptide. Okay, so there are certain basics which you need to know before going to calculation, and these are pKa and pH values. Okay, so there is a relation between pKa and pH which correspond to the net charge of the group. Okay, most of the amino acids having two pKa values, like diprotic acids, which have only carboxyl and amino group in their chain, but certain other amino acids have 3 pKa values, means triprotic acids, means apart from amino and carboxyl group there is a R group also, which is ionizable. The point to be noted here is that every amino acid has a R group, but not every amino acid's R group is ionizable. So in the net charge calculation of peptide, only those only those amino acids will play role whose side chain will also ionize. Okay, so the rule number 1 is that if pKa is greater than pH, the given pH, then that particular group will be protonated. So how do you remember that? High pKa loves proton. This is easy for you to remember. If the pKa is high, it loves proton, so it will not dissociate its proton easily. Means that group will be in protonated form. Correct? So if you know the first funda, you can automatically say the vice versa thing. Like if pK is less than pH, obviously that group will be deprotonated. Correct? Now, the question is that if pH is equal to pKa, if both the values are same, then what will happen? In that case, half of the amino acid will be in protonated form and half of the amino acid will be in deprotonated form. Correct? We have discussed when we were discussing the titration of glycine. Correct? Now, coming to the carboxylic and amino groups change in behavior on protonation and deprotonation. So carboxylic acid has -1 charge on deprotonation. It will be like COO minus when it loses its proton. But the amino group imparts a +1 charge on protonation. It will become NH3 plus. Correct? Now, on protonation, your carboxylic acid will have a 0 charge because COOH has no charge. While on deprotonation, the amine group imparts a 0 charge. It will become NH2. Correct? So there is a difference between the protonation and deprotonation charge of amino and carboxyl group, and we need to remember this when we are exposed to the question. Okay. So let's move toward our first question, which is to find the net charge of a peptide, this at pH 6 and pH 11. Okay. So how will you calculate the net charge of the peptide if you don't know the single letter code of amino acids? So first you should be sure about it, okay? So the first thing which you need to do is to write down the sequence as it is given in the question paper and note it down the N-terminal and C-terminal ends, correct? This is your amino acid or peptide sequence, and this is the right terminal is the carboxyl terminal and the left terminal is the amino terminal. And always remember that everything will be protonated at the start point of titration, okay? Now the second and the most crucial point is that you need to figure out or cross those amino acids which does not impart, whose side chain does not impart in ionization or protonation. And these are your valine, isoleucine, and leucine and methionine, correct? Now you will say that why I have not crossed the leucine which is on the terminal end, okay? So the answer is, whatever is your terminal amino acid, it will impart to the net charge of the peptide because its amino group and carboxyl group are free ends, correct? Rest of the amino acids, carboxyl and amino groups involve in the formation of peptide bond. So these are not free. Despite every amino acid has amino and carboxyl group which are in between this first and the last one, but they all contribute in the formation of peptide bond. So if they do not have ionizable R group, they cannot participate in the net charge of the peptide, so we can easily cross these amino acids. But whatever is the terminal amino acid, we need to note it down because they will have a free amino and a free carboxyl group, correct? Now, the second point, what we need to do at the third step, we need to write the pKa value of carboxyl group just below the COOH and the pKa of amino group just below the NH3 plus group. You can take help from the chart or you can easily remember, okay? Now, we have discussed that in the second slide that if pKa is less than pH, that group is deprotonated, okay? Here the pKa of COOH is 2.3 while the pH is 6, means pKa is less than pH, means it will not love its proton, means it will give up its proton, means that group is deprotonated, correct? So deprotonated carboxyl group will impart -1 charge, correct? Now coming to the NH3 plus group, its pKa is higher than the given pH, means it will love its proton, means it will be in protonated form, and protonated amine means +1. So the net charge of the peptide at pH 6 is equal to -1 + 1 is equal to 0. Correct? It was simple one. It has no ionizable R groups. Okay. So we always start from a simple one and will move towards a tough one. Now, what happened at pH 11? Okay. So all you need to do is again write down the same peptide structure. You can do it. Again write down the pKa values, and again you can see that what will be the net charge of the COOH group and NH3 plus group at pH 11. Since we have noted down these values, we are not going to repeat this set again. Rather, we will just calculate the charges of the amino and carboxyl group by just watching the comparison between the pH and pKa values. So pH 11 is greater than pKa of COOH, means COOH group will lose its proton and it will have a -1 charge. Correct? Amine group, which has a pKa of 9.6. 9.6 is less than pH 11. Okay, so pKa greater than pH means protonated. Here the pKa is less than pH 11. 9.6 is less than pH 11. So amino group will have a 0 charge because it will deprotonate. Correct? So the net charge of the peptide at pH 11 is -1 plus 0 is equal -1. Okay. Now we will move towards our next peptide, which is this, and we need to calculate the net charge of the peptide at 2 pHs, pH 3 and pH 8. So you need to know that D is your aspartic acid, H is histidine, W tryptophan, serine, glycine, leucine, arginine, proline and alanine. Okay. So the peptide is given, and the first point we need to do is that write down the carboxylic and amino terminal ends, and the second point is that we need to cross those amino acids whose side chains are not ionizable. Okay, and there are many amino acids in this peptide. So if you have given a very long peptide like this, just don't worry about it. Okay, because not every amino acid will impart in the ionization. So just cross it down, and you can rewrite the rest of the amino acid in a next line, or you can do the calculation right here by just mentioning the R groups of the amino acids. Correct? So aspartic acid has a carboxylic group at the in the R chain. Histidine has a NH plus group in the side chain, and arginine has NH2 plus in the side chain. Now the next point is to write the pKa values of carboxylic and amino groups. Okay. Now the carboxylic group will have a -1 charge at pH 3 because pKa is less than pH, so it will deprotonate, and deprotonate COOH means a -1 charge. Okay. Now amino group 9.6 is greater than pH 3. It will love its proton, so it will be in +1 form. So what about the pKa values of this R groups of these amino acids? So we need to just write down or take a look from the chart that COOH group of aspartate has 3.86, while the side chain of histidine has 6 and the arginine has 12.5 pKa values. Okay, now we need to compare all the values regarding to the pH 3. Okay, first we will start from COOH. 3.86 is greater than pH 3. pKa is greater than pH 3. So COOH will love its proton, and COOH with protonated form has 0 charge. Coming to the histidine, 6 is greater than 3. It will love its protons, and amino group with proton imparts +1 charge. Same as the R group of arginine. 12.5 is much higher than 3, so it will also be +1. So the net charge of the peptide at pH 3 is there 3 + 1 and 1 -1, so it will be +3 - 1 is equal +2. Correct? Now let's calculate at pH 8. What will the charge of the peptide at pH 8 or the basic pH? So we need to write the structure of the peptide or the sequence of the peptide again here with their ionizable R groups and crossing all the non-relevant amino acids. Then noting down the pKa values of amino and carboxyl groups and the side chain groups. Correct? Now we just need to compare the pH and pKa values. 2.3 is much less than 8, means it will lose its proton. 9.6 is higher than pH 8, means it will love its proton, means +1. 3.6 is much less than pH 8, means it will lose its proton, means -1. 6 is less than pH 8, means it will also lose its proton, and deprotonated amine means +0 charge. Now 12.5 is much higher than 8, means it will love its proton, and amino group loving its proton gives +1 charge. So the net charge at pH 8 of this peptide is equal to +2 minus 2 plus 0 is equal 0. So isn't it easy? Yes, it is easy, because we have prior experience of calculating the net charge of amino acids, and now we have elucidated how to calculate the net charge of a peptide by having an idea about the single letter code of amino acids, by having an idea about the ionizable R groups, and by knowing the simple rules of pH and pKa. Correct? So it will have fun for you for more practice. So I have given you the same peptide to calculate the net charge of the peptide at pH 11. So revise this lecture again and again, and not only this question, find out other questions also and calculate the net charge, and you can comment me in the comment section what is your answers. Okay, happy learning.